He had everything: money, power, a palace of silence. But what he didn't have was love. Until she walked in, barefoot, trembling and kind. He was cold, broken and cursed by fate. She was poor, loyal and richer in heart. This isn't just a love story. It's the story of healing, of hearts finding each other when the world gave up on them. Ezra Hawthorne, the name that made empires tremble. A genius investor, a stone-hearted billionaire. Now paralyzed waist down after a car crash he refused to speak of. He didn't need anyone. Not pity. Not love. Only silence. Ezra in his sleek black wheelchair, staring blankly at the garden from a window. His hands clenched on the armrest. Enter Arya, 23, a fragile girl with fire in her eyes and dust on her shoes. She wasn't meant to be hired. She wasn't even on the list. She came to clean, not to dream. But the moment she stepped in, fate turned a page. The butler introduces Arya to the cold mansion staff. All eyes judge her ragged clothes, her hesitant smile. Butler stiffly. This is Arya. Temporary help. Stay out of Mr. Hawthorne's way. Scene. Arya accidentally walks into Ezra's study, not realizing he's behind her. Arya soft gasp. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Ezra turns his wheelchair around, expression ice cold. Ezra curtly. Get out. He was used to people looking at him with pity. But Arya's eyes didn't flinch. She didn't look at the chair. She looked at him. Slow piano music as Arya leaves the room, whispering to herself. Arya quietly. He must be hurting more than he shows. Arya quietly places a blanket on the armrest of his chair while he sleeps, unaware. A simple act of care. And so began a story not written in fairy tales, but in silent kindness, unexpected warmth, and stolen glances that would one day set two broken hearts on fire. Ezra wakes up to find the blanket, confused. He rolls toward the kitchen and sees Arya humming to herself, cleaning. Ezra to himself. Why does she smile like that? Scene. Dining hall, grand but lifeless. Ezra sits alone with untouched food. Arya quietly dusts a corner, humming softly. Ezra's POV. Her voice reaches him. Not annoying. Not loud. Just calm. Ezra murmuring. She hums like she owns peace. Scene. Arya notices his untouched plate. Arya timidly. Sir, would you like me to warm that for you? Ezra cold. I didn't ask. Awkward pause. Ezra expects her to back away. But Arya doesn't move. Arya gentle yet firm. No, you didn't. But eating cold food can't feel good. I'll be quick. She wasn't being bold, just kind. But to Ezra, it felt like someone had cracked a window open in his prison of pride. Ezra alone in the hospital, refusing food. Doctors whispering about emotional trauma, isolation. He wasn't always like this. There was a time when Ezra laughed. When he believed someone would love him for more than his fortune. But betrayal runs deep. And pain even deeper when it comes wrapped in trust. Later that day, Arya slips on a step while mopping. Ezra hears the sound and instinctively wheels over. Ezra urgent. Are you all right? Arya blinks, surprised. Arya soft smile. I'm fine. Didn't expect you to care. Ezra stiffens, realizing what he just did. His voice turns defensive. Ezra. I didn't. Just don't bleed on the floors. But his eyes lingered longer than they should have. And Arya saw something flicker in them, something that said, I see you. That night, Ezra is in bed, restless. He looks at his phone. Then at the door. Then whispers to the air. Ezra to himself. Who are you, Arya? Suddenly a crash is heard outside. A voice screams. Fire in the staff quarters. Ezra's hand tightens on his blanket. Ezra panicking. Arya! Mansion courtyard. Orange flames rise from a small staff hut. Chaos everywhere. Ezra wheels out, ignoring the butler's protests. Butler yelling. Sir, it's dangerous, please go back inside. Ezra, gritting his teeth. Where's Arya? Arya trapped in the smoke, coughing, holding an old woman, a sick cook. She refused to leave behind. Arya weak. I can't carry her. Ezra wheels toward the chaos. A security guard rushes to him. Guard. Sir, please, this isn't safe. Ezra, cold and determined. Then make it safe. Emotional music swells as Ezra watches two guards pull Arya and the cook out. Arya collapses, coughing, barely conscious. Ezra softly. Why didn't you just run? Because that's not who she was. Even if it killed her, she wouldn't leave someone behind. And Ezra saw himself in her courage. Later that night, Arya lies asleep in the guest room, a mild burn on her arm. Ezra sits nearby in the shadows, watching. Ezra whispers, "You could have died today, and I would have." He stops himself. His hand trembles slightly on his lap. For the first time in years, Ezra felt fear. Not of pain, not of loss, but of caring too much. Next morning, Arya wakes up, surprised to see a rose in a glass beside her bed and a handwritten note. Note, in Ezra's handwriting. You're reckless, but brave. Rest today. H. Arya clutches the note, eyes wide with disbelief. Ezra in his study, staring at an old photo of a woman from his past. He slowly rips it in half. The past still haunted him. But maybe, just maybe, it didn't have to own him. Suddenly the butler knocks. Butler, hesitant. Sir. Arya asked if she could speak with you. Alone. Ezra's expression tightens. Ezra softly. She did. Ezra's study evening. Arya stands by the doorway, bandaged arm, holding the note he left. Ezra waits in silence. Ezra clears throat. You wanted to talk. Arya nods. I did. I wanted to say thank you for the rose and the note. Ezra, avoiding her gaze. It was just courtesy. Arya steps closer, voice soft but firm. Arya. People like you don't do things out of courtesy. You meant it. Ezra clenches the armrest. She's not wrong, and it terrifies him. Ezra's ex-fiancée leaving him at the hospital after his accident, her last words echoing. I can't love a broken man. He built walls after that. Oh, once. But Arya was starting to plant flowers through the cracks. Arya sits across from Ezra, her eyes kind. Arya. You don't have to push everyone away. Some of us don't want your money or your mansion. Some of us just want to stay. Ezra, softly, bitterly. They all say that, until the chair becomes real to them. Arya. I already see it. And I'm still here. Ezra looks up sharply. Their eyes meet. His full of disbelief, hers of quiet truth. Silence settles between them. Ezra breaks it with a question. Ezra almost whispering. Why did you save her? The cook. You could have died. Arya. Because she once saved me, with soup and kindness. I repay loyalty. Always. Ezra's hand trembles slightly again. That was the moment. The crack widened. Not because of grand gestures, but because of loyalty, the one thing his life had lacked. Arya begins to leave the study, but stops at the door. Arya gently. Let me stay. Not as your maid, but as your friend. Ezra doesn't answer. His eyes follow her. His lips part. But before he can respond, suddenly his lawyer barges in. Lawyer. Ezra, we need to talk. It's about the woman who caused your accident. She's back. Ezra's expression darkens. Just when his heart was starting to thaw, the past returned, colder than ever. Ezra's study. The lawyer places a folder on his desk. Lawyer. Her name's Celeste Monroe. She returned to the city last week. She's asking to meet you. Ezra, voice flat, eyes stormy. She left me to die, and now she wants tea. Lawyer. She claims she didn't know you survived the crash. Ezra's fist tightens around the folder. Celeste, his ex-fiancée. The woman he once believed would grow old beside him, until she abandoned him the night of the accident. Now she wanted closure. Arya overhears part of the conversation as she passes the study. She pauses, brows furrowed. Arya to herself. Celeste. That night, Arya sits alone in the kitchen, staring at the note Ezra once gave her. She wasn't jealous. She didn't even understand why her chest ached. All she knew was she didn't want him hurt again. The next morning, Ezra rolls into the sunroom. Arya is watering the plants. Ezra casually. I'm meeting someone today. An old ghost. Arya softly. Celeste. Ezra stops, surprised. Ezra. You heard. Arya gentle. Just enough to worry. Be careful, Ezra. Not everyone who walks back in deserves a second glance. Ezra quiet. I know. But I need to see her. End it properly. Before I can begin anything new. Arya looks away, hiding a tiny flicker of hope in her eyes. Waiter. Scale Cafe. Ezra waits, stiff in his chair. Celeste walks in, elegant but older, guilt shadowing her face. Celeste softly. Ezra, you look different. Ezra cold smile. Crushed spine tends to change a man. Celeste. I was scared. I didn't know how to face you. I thought you'd hate me forever. Ezra icy. I did. But now. I just don't care anymore. She reaches for his hand. He pulls away. Ezra. I'm not broken anymore, Celeste. Just finally learning how to heal. And you're not part of that chapter. Ezra returns to the mansion. He finds Arya in the garden, hands covered in soil, planting roses. Ezra watching her. You always plant things when you're worried. Arya without turning. And you always show up when I stop expecting you. They exchange a smile. The air shifts. Softer, warmer. But just then a voice interrupts. Stranger off screen. Arya. Arya Williams. A man in a sleek black suit walks up. Arya turns pale. Ezra's eyes narrow. Ezra. You know him. Arya's voice shakes. He's my brother. And if he's here, it means trouble's followed me. Scene mansion garden. Arya's hands tremble as she wipes the dirt off and faces her brother. Ezra coldly. Who is he? What kind of trouble? Arya quietly. His name's Damon. And he's the reason I left home. Damon steps forward, smiling like a man who never apologizes. Damon. Relax, sis. I just came to take back what belongs to the family. You've had enough fun playing Cinderella. Ezra steely. She's not yours to take. And this isn't your kingdom. Damon mocking. Oh. And what are you, crippled Prince Charming? Ezra's eyes flash, but Arya steps between them. Arya firm. Stop it. Damon, what do you want? Scene. Flashback. Arya as a teenager working in her father's failing shop. Damon involved in underground deals, dragging her into debt. She'd once trusted her brother, until he gambled away their lives and blamed her for running. Now he was back to claim what she owed. Scene back in the garden. Damon grinning. 10 grand. Etzel. Pay me and I vanish. Ezra without hesitation. Done. Arya shocked. No. I won't let you pay my debt, Ezra. Ezra softly. You would have died for me in that fire. Let me do this for you. Arya's eyes fill, torn between pride and gratitude. Later that night, Ezra slips the envelope to Damon, who smirks victoriously. Damon taunting. She's sweet. You sure she's not just playing you? Ezra calm deadly. If you ever come near her again, you won't walk out. Damon's smirk falters. Scene. Arya finds Ezra by the fireplace, staring at the flames. Arya softly. You didn't have to do that. Ezra. I did. Because every time someone hurt you, I felt it. Arya slowly walks up, kneels beside his chair. Arya. I don't want your money, Ezra. I just want you. Ezra turns, stunned. Their faces are inches apart. But before he can speak, his phone rings. Ezra, reading the caller ID, stunned. It's the hospital. They found something about my legs. Hospital. Ezra wheels into the neurologist's office, Arya by his side, her hand gently on his shoulder. Doctor smiling. Mr. Blackwood, the new spinal scan shows potential regeneration around the lower lumbar. It's rare, but with surgery and rehab, there's a chance you might walk again. Ezra's breath catches. Arya's hand tightens around his. Ezra, voice shaking. A chance. How big? Doctor. 30%. But it's real. We can start immediately. For a man who once had everything, 30% sounded like hope. And Arya was the first person he looked at. Back at the mansion that evening. Ezra stares at his legs, lost in thought. Arya sits beside him. Arya. Are you scared? Ezra softly. I don't know what's more terrifying. The thought of walking again or failing. Arya. Then lean on me. Even if you fall, I'll still be right here. Ezra looks at her, the truth shining in his eyes. Ezra. You're not just a maid anymore, Arya. You're everything. Their hands meet. No words, just warmth. Training montage. Ezra in therapy, struggling, sweating, falling. Arya beside him every step, encouraging, catching him, wiping his brow. It wasn't just about his legs anymore. It was about learning to trust, to hope, to feel worthy of love again. Late night. Ezra stands for a brief second using parallel bars, legs shaking, Arya cheering softly. Doctor excited. You did it. Even if it's just a few seconds. It's progress. Ezra tearing up. I never thought I'd feel the ground again. He looks to Arya. Ezra. I want you beside me for all of it. Arya opens her mouth to respond, but her phone rings. Arya, glancing at caller ID, voice trembling. No, it can't be. Ezra. What is it? Arya, barely a whisper. My mother. She's alive. Scene. Arya sits frozen in the study, phone clutched to her ear. Ezra watches from across the room, concern in his eyes. Voice on the phone, woman fragile. Arya, my sweet girl. I never stopped thinking about you. Arya shaking. You left me. You died in that fire. Mother, voice trembling. No, Arya. I was taken. Forced to disappear. There's so much I need to tell you. Scene. Arya ends the call, breathless, trembling. Ezra kneels in front of her, holding her hands. Ezra. Talk to me. Arya, tears in her eyes. She's in a shelter downtown. She wants to meet tomorrow. Ezra. Then we'll go together. You're not facing this alone. Next day. A quiet, broken-down women's shelter. Arya walks through the halls, heart pounding. Ezra wheels beside her, calm but alert. Scene, a small room. A frail woman rises as Arya enters. Their eyes meet. Mother. My little girl. Arya, frozen. You're really alive. They rush into each other's arms. Silent sobs. Years of pain dissolving in one moment. Not every reunion is perfect. But this one was necessary. Later outside the shelter. Arya sits beside Ezra, tears still in her eyes. Arya. She was taken by Damon's people. Used as leverage when he got in too deep. She escaped recently. She never meant to leave me. Ezra furious. Your brother is worse than I thought. Arya sadly. He was supposed to protect me. Instead, he destroyed everything. Ezra determined. Then let's build you a new family. One that loves you right. She turns, surprised. Their eyes meet. Ezra. I don't just want you in my life, Arya. I want you to be my life. Scene back at the mansion. Ezra leads Arya to the grand garden. Roses blooming where she once planted them. Ezra standing with support, a box in hand. I used to believe no one would love a broken man. But you saw more. He opens the box. an engagement ring shining in the golden sunset. Ezra. Aria Williams. Will you marry me? Aria gasps, hand over heart, tears in her eyes. Just then, a shot echoes in the distance. Ezra stumbles back, collapsing. Aria screaming. Ezra! Scene chaos in the garden. Guards rush in. Aria cradles Ezra's head, blood staining her hands. Aria sobbing. No, 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 stay with me. Ezra, please. Ezra weakly trying to smile. I still haven't heard your answer. Aria crying harder. Yes, I'll marry you. Just don't leave me. Teen hospital. Emergency surgery. Aria waits outside, her face pale, hands clenched, praying. She had lost too many people already. She wouldn't lose him. Not when they were so close to forever. Ezra's childhood memory. Abandoned by his father, learning to walk with pain, building walls around his heart. He was taught that love was a weakness. Until she taught him it was his greatest strength. Hours later, the doctor approaches. Aria stands, bracing for the worst. Doctor, smiling gently. He made it. The bullet missed his organs. He's going to be okay. Aria sinks to her knees in relief, tears flowing. Aria whispers, "Thank you." 2 days later, Ezra wakes up in his hospital bed. Aria is asleep beside him, hand still wrapped around his. Ezra softly, "You said yes, didn't you?" Aria waking up, voice cracking. "I meant it with everything I have." Ezra, "Then I'll heal, not just for me. For us." Scene, police officers at the mansion. They've captured the sniper, hired by Damon. Officer, "He won't be bothering you again. But you'll need to testify." Ezra calm but cold. "I will. No more running." Scene, Ezra practicing walking again with a cane. Aria watches proudly. He wasn't just walking, he was walking toward something. Future. Wow. A love that would never leave. Scene fades into the upcoming wedding preparations. A quiet morning at the mansion. Ezra, walking with a cane, adjusts his cufflinks. A gentle knock on the door. His best man enters. Best man smiling. "You ready, Mr. Blackwood?" Ezra, with a soft laugh. "For the first time in my life, more than ever." Aria stands in front of a mirror in a white gown. Simple. Elegant. Her mother helps pin a flower in her hair. Mother teary-eyed. "I almost lost the chance to see this day. But you, my daughter, you turned ashes into roses." Aria, smiling through tears. "I found home in him, Mama. Not in walls, but in his heart." Garden wedding. The same garden where Ezra once proposed, now blooming with thousands of roses. Get seated. Music begins. Ezra waits under the archway, standing strong, his cane by his side. Aria walks down the aisle, eyes locked on him. Ezra, holding her hands. "I was a broken man in a chair, locked away in silence. You gave me a voice. You taught me that love doesn't fix you. It frees you. And I vow to never let go of the hand that saved me." Aria, tearfully. "I was a maid with no name, no worth. You gave me back my dignity. And my dreams. I vow to stand beside you, even when the world shakes, because you are my forever." A kiss. Applause. Doves released into the sky. Soft music plays. From maid to queen. From cold to whole. Their love wasn't perfect, but it was real. Loyal. Eternal. 1 year later. Ezra walks without his cane, hand in hand with Aria as they open a charity foundation for disabled children and women in shelters, named the House of Second Chances. Ezra, to a young boy in a wheelchair. "You're not broken, son. You're just becoming." Aria smiling. "And no matter where you come from, love can rewrite your story. In a world where fate writes pain, they chose to write love. Together,